Hey everybody, John Swift out on the trail today. Another hot day. Although, it's been kind of pretty out because the storm is on the other coast, and so I guess it brought drier weather, so we haven't been as rainy, which is pretty cool. Still, it's hot as an oven that's chasing you down the trail. That's what it feels like. So, today's story is about the worst thing I ever did at a 7-Eleven. Which there may be a few occasions where I've maybe lost my temper or cussed somebody, or see, my big thing is that my button that people push is when people are rude. It's like I have almost like a zero tolerance for rude people, and I'll usually bring it up. I won't necessarily always get in a fight with somebody, but the other thing I want to mention was, which do you prefer? Do you prefer the angle that I'm seeing, or would you rather see this side? Because I noticed that I've been shooting a lot of my videos, I guess, what do you call this, first person? You're seeing what I'm seeing. I used to shoot a lot of them where it was just me talking and you were looking at me talking, and then occasionally I'd flip the camera on because I'd see other people doing that. It'd be like, talk for a few minutes like this and then flip the camera. So leave a comment if you have a preference that you'd like to see my face, or you'd like to see mostly what I'm seeing, or option number 3 is both. So A would be you'd like to see my face more. Did I say B? A would be my face more. B would be just more of what I'm seeing, that point of view. And C would be both. Just a little bit of me, a little bit of the scenery. But it's pretty out here today. And there's a loud bird in the tree over there. Probably some kind of raptor. That was loud. I don't know if it's during mating season they do that or whatever, but anyway, the worst thing I ever did. So I was listening to Loveline, which you can go on to YouTube, and there's actually somebody uploaded all these Loveline episodes. If you don't know what Loveline is, just Google it. It was a show. Adam Carolla. He was. Hey, buddy! What a pretty face you got there. Adam Carolla was talking about a incident at a gas station where his car broke down. The guy said he couldn't park there, and he says, well, when's the mechanic going to be back? And it just reminded me of this story, and I haven't told this story yet. What a pretty meadow, huh? Pretty view out here today. I think this is called Urfer Park. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. Urfer Park. So, around Sarasota, we do have Middle Eastern gas stations with, Pakistani guys and I don't know if it's Saudi Arabian people or Indian people. And it's like, it's really hard to judge, but it's not like a racist thing. And don't get on the race, don't start giving me comments about racism. It's just, there are Middle Eastern guys that are just, they seem more often rude than not. But there's also white people that are often rude, and black people and Asian people. I got cussed out by some Chinese people to own. That's a different story. But I was really unexpected. They're really angry about napkins. So what happened is I was with my girlfriend and her 2 grandkids, 2 girls, and we were supposed to go in and get some Cokes, I think. We were going to go somewhere to do something, go to a playground or something, and we were stopping by to grab some Cokes, and we stop in this one place. I don't know if it was a 7-Eleven or a Stop and Go or whatever, Circle K. And how some places you go in and all they have is the styrofoam cups, and the styrofoam cups don't happen to be as easy. They're easy to break, styrofoam, you know what I mean? If you get the cheap ass cups with the cheap lids. If you go to 7-Eleven or a Circle K, that's what we have here, is they have plastic cups and they're less likely to break. But anyway, that's not really important in this story. What is important is what happened is the oldest girl was about 8, and she went into the store with me, and we're just looking around and trying to figure out what we want to drink, and I was probably looking for like a Coke or something. I was trying to figure out if we were gonna get a bottle of Coke or should we get a fountain drink of Coke because it stays cold longer because you put ice in the fountain drink. And so I got a fountain drink, so the styrofoam cup. And then we were looking through the shelves for a different drink. And it just happened to be a Sunday morning, and we had like a moratorium on we had a law that says that before 12 you can't actually buy beer before 12 p.m. It's on a Sunday, which is I guess probably an old law because I think they've actually repealed that law since, which is interesting. Check out that three-wheel motorcycle over there. That lady had a classic striped, it's too bad I can't freeze frame that. She had like a classic striped, like a white, red, white, and blue helmet. Pretty cool. So, why is there so many damn cars coming down here? Where are all these people going? Where are you going? Coincidentally, it's a Sunday today too. Is everybody just coming home from church or something? Why does it always sound like cars driving by are so loud? It's probably just me. I'm sensitive to noise. Anyway, so back to the story. As the story goes, we opened a cooler and I was just joking around and I pulled out like a bottle of beer and like held it over to my girlfriend's granddaughter, which I'll just call her my granddaughter because she was, you know, it was like a situation where we helped take care of the kids, so I call it my granddaughter. And I said, here, you want a beer? And I guess the guy apparently had mirrors. You know how they have those big mirrors that they can see from the front to the back of the store? Big round mirrors that they put in there so they can see if people are stealing. He saw me do that. So this a-hole decides to yell across the store, you can't buy the beer, it's not before 12, or something like that. And that just pushed my button. Like the way he said it sort of set me off. And I'm thinking, how does he even see me? Because he's all the way across the store. The cooler's in the back, he's in the front of the store, near the cash register. And it was really weird. And I said, I'm not buying, I said basically, no, I was just kidding, I wasn't buying beer. So for some reason he had this mindset that he was gonna argue with me. And he did one of these things, you know, these guys that just go, I'm just telling you. And he said, I'm just telling you, you can't buy beer. And I said, I didn't buy beer, I just pulled it out of the freezer. And so an argument sort of pursues where he won't shut the fuck up. Excuse my language. He won't shut the hell up. And I'm thinking, I don't know if the guy owned the store or he owned the world, or that's what his attitude was, is that he owned the whole place. And he was gonna win the argument regardless if I was a customer or not. Because that's the mindset of some people. I guess they choose to run their store how, you know, like I said, I've been rude, people have been rude to me of all races, so it's not a race thing. It's just part of the story. So don't go all like, you're racist on me. Anyway, so every time I'd say, look, dude, you're I said something like, you know, you work here, you're supposed to be polite, you're being rude right now. And he goes, yeah, but I'm just trying to tell you, I was just trying to tell you, and over and over. And I don't know why it made me so angry, but it did. Part of it might have been the fact that there was my little granddaughter with me who was like I said, 7 or 8. And maybe I felt protective somehow, like you don't want to be like somebody rude to you in front of kids or something like that. You know how you get protective. And same thing with my girlfriend. I used to be real protective when we'd be shopping or be out somewhere and somebody would say something rude. I'd get really pissed. So I'm kind of like looking for Coke, and then at some point I decide I'm not even gonna buy anything because this guy's being a fucking asshole. And he just kept continuing. I'm just trying to tell you. I said, look, I'm the customer. You should be nice to me. You're yelling at me from across the store now. And he said something else that made me snap. You know, something probably along the lines of, I was just trying to tell you that you're arguing with me. And I took the Coke and I literally just threw it across the store. And I think I was so angry, I actually like, I crushed it as I was throwing it. So like it got all in my hand, and I threw the Coke, like, I don't think it even made it across the store because all the liquid spilled out as it was flying over the shelves. Man, I'll tell you what, he was so fast, he got from behind the counter in front of the door in about 3 seconds. Like I threw the cup and I was just gonna walk out. I didn't plan it. He just, like I said, it just snapped. So I'm sure my granddaughter was like, what the hell's going on here? But her dad had a temper too, so I think it wasn't like it was new to, it wasn't like she'd never seen anybody get angry before. It's not something I'm proud of. It's just, you know, years later, you know, this is probably 10 years ago. So I throw the drink across the store. He zips in front of the door and has got his body blocking the door. He goes, you're gonna have to, he says, you're gonna have to clean that up. You have to clean that up. And I said, dude, I'm not cleaning up anything. And if you don't get out of the way, it's gonna be bad news for you. Like he was like literally standing in front of both doors with his arms on the doors. So I got close to the door and he's like, no, you're gonna clean that up. You're gonna clean. And I figured I was gonna dash around him and push the door open. Like, cause I'm real quick like that, like a cat. So apparently one side of the doors, you know how there's usually double doors, that was locked. So I go for the door that's locked and I hit it, trying to just open the door without touching him. Cause you know, technically, if I pushed him out of the way, it would be like a battery thing, and I didn't want to like get into a fight with the guy. So I hit the door that's locked, because he was holding both sides, so I thought that door would open, and it didn't. So then I'm like, oh crap. And I said something to the fact, I said, dude, if you touch me, it's gonna be really bad for you right now. You just need to get the hell out of the way. He's like, no, I'm not moving. You're gonna clean that up. You're gonna clean that up. And so I basically muscled the door open with him trying to hold it closed. I just used all my weight and pushed the door open. And fortunately, once I got the door open and held it, my granddaughter ran out. And he was like still trying to block me from leaving. So we jump in the car. I tell my girlfriend, let's go, let's go. She goes, what happened? And I said, don't say anything, just go. Pull out and let's go. And she always gets like frustrated when I tell her stuff like that. She was like, well, blah, blah. I said, don't talk, just let's go, we gotta go. So we sped off, went to a different shop and go. And I don't even know if I've ever been back to that place again. Of course, I always remember it when I go by that store. And I don't know if it's owned by the same people or not owned by the same people. It's an interesting question. I might have went in one time out of curiosity, just to see. Yeah, something weird on my phone. Oh, autofocus. Autofocus. Oh, it's got something on my screen. I'm trying to figure out what it is. Sorry about that. One of the memorable times, I've gotten mad at another guy came out one time, and I was trying to stretch the gas hose around from the wrong side and put it in. He came out and told me I couldn't do that, and like yelled at me. So I just put it back and like got my money back and left, because he was being such an a-hole. But one of the more memorable stories of my public anger, I've yelled at people for like talking on the phone too loud or something, or cussing on the phone in front of kids. And you know, just there's always public situations where, you know, somebody's being an a-hole and they're not being considerate of other people, or people, you know, that work at a store and they're just being jerks. And a lot of times it could be, you know, that person had just a bad day. I love these signs when they say private property, no trespassing. It's like a swamp in here. Like, who wants to trespass in a swamp? But I guess that's why they put the signs up, because people maybe try to fish in there or something. I don't know. Anyway, don't go in there. Yeah, so, you know, in hindsight, when you get older, you think, you know, maybe that guy was having a bad day. You know, maybe one of his relatives were in the hospital. I don't really hold any animosity at the guy. Maybe if he had hit me, maybe that would be different. But these days I try to reason things out that say, you know, you have to have a little bit of empathy for people, give them a little bit of room, because people are always going through something, you know. you know, I just went through a thing where my motorcycle broke down, and it took like a month to get it fixed because it was an antique. So they don't have the parts. They don't have like the testing machines, I guess, to fix it right away. Allegedly, yeah, that's a whole different story. So I always try to take something away from that. And of course, getting angry and yelling at people, it never really solves things necessarily. It may make you feel better temporarily. I actually yelled at one guy in a 7-Eleven who was a white dude, and I came back and apologized, I think, because I realized I was just angry and I was just taking that on him. So, you know, there's always two sides to every story. But the one thing I always wondered about is if he had cameras in that 7-Eleven, there was footage of me throwing so the one thing, you know, I probably should have paid for the Coke, but I was so angry and just wanted to get out of there. And the guy was trying to tell me I needed to clean it up. And so I wasn't about to like go, okay, I'm sorry. Give me a mop, I'll clean it up. I mean, it was all over the place. It wasn't just on the floor, it was like on the racks of like potato chips. Anyway, that's about the whole ball of wax for that story. I hope you guys are sincerely having a good summer. It's been really hot here, boy. It's like the complete opposite of like snowing all the time where you can't do anything. It's like you can't do anything because it's too hot. I think that guy should turn his radio up a little bit, because it's not. I think he just flipped me off. Why is he flipping me off for turning around? That's kind of odd. He has the loud radio that's like blasting rap. He's like flipping me off or something, just looking at him. It's a temperamental world. You can't look at people anymore. I mean, Sarasota is a somewhat mixed, but I wouldn't say we have an overabundance of black people or Chinese people or Turkish people. I'd say it's like, actually, like there's like more like German and European people here because it's kind of a wealthy community, and that's, you know, a lot of people can't afford to live here unless you're in the poor section. Anyway, well, we'll see you guys later. Hope you enjoyed the story. Have a great weekend. See you later.